Can you imagine how crazy it'd be for someone to take an over 4-carat salt and pepper diamond and combine it with a Morgan dollar coin ring? Actually, I can't, but I think it's what we have to do it. Before we talk about anything diamond related, we need to start with a coin ring. So what we have here is a 1921 Morgan dollar, and we're going to start this coin ring by cutting a hole in the center of it. And what we're going to be using, the Auto Punch by Jason's Works. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to take our deburring tool and we're going to cut a 45-degree angle on the inside of this cut edge that we just created. And that's to soften it and make sure we don't have any splits. And once we're done deburring it, we'll sand it with some 120 grit sandpaper and just get it completely smoothed out so there's no rough edges to tear as we start to fold it. And then finally, we'll get it annealed, which is basically softening the metal. And the cool thing about non-ferrous metals like silver, gold, and copper is you can quench them and they're not going to harden like steel would. And now we're ready to start folding these with our folding dies and make it into a coin ring. And now we have this thing folded into a cone shape, but it's way too big. We're going for a size 11 ring right now, and this one's huge. So we're gonna have to shrink the entire thing down, and that calls for a Swedish wrap. Now what we need to do is deburr this coin edge because there's a lip right here, right at this edge of this coin that's really uncomfortable to wear. And details like this is what separates an amazing coin ring from a cheap coin ring. Nice and smooth now and comfortable to be worn. Perfect. So now we have this thing perfectly fitting, exactly the right size. It's time to leave the coin ring bench and head over to the other jewelry bench. Okay, here is the stone we're working with. It's a little over 4 carat salt and pepper diamond, and it's in a kite cut. This one's quite large, and it's going to stick out both sides of the coin ring, which I actually love. I think this is going to be a really cool idea. But the problem is, it won't fit into the ring because it does stick out both sides, and you want to make sure all these points are protected, because if you leave a point unprotected, they can chip. So we definitely don't want that. We're going to have to create a bezel for this to sit in. And what I think we're going to be using for that, a piece of this. We'll carve the shape that we want to out of this wax. And once we have it exactly the way we want it, we're going to go ahead and cast it. And we're going to cast it in the exact same silver we cut out of the coin ring, which I think is kind of neat. We're putting the pieces of the coin back together, just in a different shape. So let's get carving. So the first thing we're going to do is take our diamond, put some sticky wax on it, stick it onto the blue wax, and then once we have it onto the blue wax, we're going to scribe a line around it really carefully, exactly the size of the stone. And then we'll seat the stone into the wax by cutting it out with various burrs and possibly even some razor blades. Once it's seated in there nice and flat and level, then we're going to go ahead and carve around the outside and leave just maybe 1/4 of a millimeter, maybe a little bit more of wax all the way around the outside. Once we have it like that, we'll be about ready for casting. So now we have the piece the way we want it in the wax, and it's time to make this thing in silver now. And what we're going to be doing to do that is we're going to do lost wax casting.
Next day.
So the mold has been in the oven overnight and all the wax has been burnt out, leaving a void for our silver to go into. So the first thing we're going to do, take it out of the 900-degree oven and then put it into our spin caster. Now what we need to do is cut this sprue off and get it in the magnetic tumbler, let it get cleaned up a little bit. Alright, now we have this guy all cleaned up, and we have this guy done. So what we're going to do now, start to sink this guy down into the Morgan dollar coin ring. And then we'll get it all soldered on there, and then we'll start setting the stone. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is I'm going to just give it a couple tacks with the pulse arc welder just to hold it in place, and then we'll go ahead and solder this guy onto the coin ring. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make this ring as much as I enjoyed making it. It is one of the most unique rings I've ever made. Another unique thing, you guys know that I'm selling my house, that I sold my house and we're building a new place and having a new shop and everything like that. And I'm currently at my dad's shop. Well, there's a byproduct to that. You know, there's constantly people here working. Let me just show you what's on the other side of my jewelry studio. Hold on, let's go. These guys. Today they're in here making a bunch of rock molds. This isn't a video, but my dad actually does a YouTube channel also, Faux Rock. F-A-U-X-R-O-C-K. And so right now they're making a bunch of rock molds so they can cast a pool or something. I don't know what they're doing. But that is always, so that's all the noise that you hear from the other side of the shop. Big thanks again, Dad. Thanks for letting me stay in your shop. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.